anything. It's just about extending what we just saw. So to get started, let's first run the app and see where we are. So we have our app here. We have no posts. We click on the second tab. We have users. That still persists, and we're able to create users by clicking on this modal presentation view here and create users. So we're able to do that. Excellent. Next step, can we populate the users in this picker view? So that's the next step of the app, right? Can we get our users in that particular picker view here to power our picker view? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to our create post view controller. Our create post view controller has a picker view, and the picker view right now doesn't have a data object to get its data from, right? There's no data object. So in our create post view controller, let us create an array. Let's create an array of users. Here we have an array of users. Great. We have an array of users. When our view did load gets called, we want to be able to load those users. So let's write a function here.
Wait, on our create post, we have an array of users?
Yes, that's going to populate the picker view.
What the hell?
That's going to populate this picker view here.
And
so I'll see Alex and Miles, for example. I select a user, I add a post, that post is going to be created on the behalf of that user.
It's not making sense yet, but I'm sure that as we get it, it's going to make sense.
Yep. Basically, a post has a user, correct?
Yeah.
So if I create a post, I give it a title, I give it a fact or a number fact. The post needs to get a user.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the way the app is architectured, I get a user from my picker view.
Okay.
Right? It's not like a login thing, like I logged in with my account and then I create a post, it knows who I am.
Wait, you get a user from the picker view?
Yes, from this picker view here.
So every time there's a new user, it'll be updated into this picker view?
Yes.
And what exactly is that? So you're is this things that's happening in the app just to practice certain things? But
yes, to practice certain things. You're not going to send out to the App Store.
Okay, because it's not making. Okay.
Yep. There's a ding. I think somebody dinged something. Who does this? Ahad? Is Ahad here? I feel like Ahad does the dinging sound. Like,
what are you talking about?
I don't know. I think you're the one doing the ding.
I don't do any dings.
I see. I see. Yeah, Tiffany, that's not the best UI UX, but for the functionality of can we get users in the core data store?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We get a user, we create a post, it's created based on that user. Okay. But will you architecture your app like that? No. Your app is going to have a logged in user.
Right.
It knows who you are. When you say post and you say number fact, it knows who you are.
Okay, thank you.
No, definitely. The method is that. All right, so let us continue on. So we have users. Everybody's on board here with like why users and where the users go. Okay, so users, we have a private function, fetch users. Fetch users, and what does fetch users look like? So very similar to what we did before. We have fetch users here. We say core data dot share dot fetch users. I still need to fix this. And we call fetch users here. At this point, we have users. We call fetch users here. Our picker view now, we need to change what the count, where the count is coming from. So now our count will be users that count for the picker view.
Oh. Okay.
Comes together now?
We just did it again. We just did the same that we did over there. We're doing it again, specifically because we want to be able to populate our picker view with the users, and we're going to give it its names too.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So now we have, make sure we call fetch users in video load. And submit button, we're not doing that yet. But instead of saying 10 here, we'll say users account.
So are we going to put a did set on that, or we don't have to?
I don't think we have to necessarily here because it's not coming from an API or anything.
Okay. And
and every time we come back to that screen, the view did load is going to get called. Every time I click here,
all right,
view
it's
did load
still
gets
one
called.
component, but in the number of rows, that becomes users.
Yeah, so if we scroll down, we have users account for the count of rows. And for the title, we no longer hard coding the title here. Let's see who I haven't heard from in a while. Who's here?
It's users at row, right?
Yeah.
Just row.name.
Oh yeah, row dot. Wait, what?
Users square brackets row and then .name.
Oh. Got you. Thank you.
Because if not, then we're setting the whole user model and.
Yeah, and that's not it. Yeah. Appreciate you.
Margiette, I'm gonna ask to turn on your mic. Margiette, get off mute for a second. Margiette is here. Is she not here? Margiette? Mr. Kelby, sir.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing good. Just want to hear other voices as well. So how are we doing here? I want to update my online 51. What am I doing here to return a title?
I'm gonna go with what Christian had said. You could either give yourself a user, or you could just go straight to users, and then the row dot name.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
No
How's everything
problem.
going?
Everything's good.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, cool. So that'll get us like a title for each of those users in our array. All right. Thank you, sir. With that, we should have enough to test out this functionality. So let's go ahead and run the app. Run the app and let's test this. Where's my app? App, come back. Okay, so if I go to post here, I should now see my users populating in the Pika view. Does everybody have the users populating in the Pika view?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point, we could add a new user. I'll add a new user here.
Nora.
Nora, right?
Nora, I'll even add Nora. We like Nora. Nora Paul.
Nora Paul. When was she born?
Today.
Someday today, the 9th. Add Nora, go to my picker view for post, and Nora also appears. Okay. So that's the confirmation there. So that works.
This is so cool.
You having a good time?
This is blessing me right now. This is very cool.
Invite us. Well, we invited. Well, we are in the party as well.
No, you're not invited.
All right, cool. Let's keep moving on. Next step, we want to be able to create a post. We don't have that functionality yet in our core data manager. We go over to our core data manager to add the functionality to create a post and also to fetch posts. Okay, so let's go ahead and do so. So navigate to core data manager. Navigate to core data manager. If you have fetch user here, let's fix this really quickly. I want to refactor this to fetch users, plural. So fetch users, great. And let's continue on. So we have create user, we have fetch users. Let's now go on to fetch or to create public function create post. Public function create post. What does a post need? A post needs a user, and the post needs a number fact, and also the post needs a title. So those are the parameters we'll be accepting here. So what do we need? We need a user. So
This
create
is
post.
inside Core Manager.
Yeah, I mean the core data manager. Yes, exactly. Core data manager. So create post for user. We
Needs
need
a
a user.
and a number.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make this bigger here. A number and also the title. We had a location, but we're not going to use location. That was just for illustration purposes. But yeah, you could have a location, you could have core data, you could have coordinates, you could have all the nice things. But to keep it minimum here, we'll have a number fact, which is the number the person put in, which is a double. What else we have? We have the title, which is a string. Great. All right. Help from the audience. What's the first thing we want to do here? I want to create a post.
Do catch.
Do catch in that particular instance. Yes, that's for the saving part, but we're not there yet. So this is later. That's for saving to the context, saving post to the NS managed object
Context.
text.
Well, we need a.
Or we could just say core data. What's that, sir?
We need the path, right? Like how we did in File Manager.
We don't need the path in that case, which is helpful. We don't need some extra sync to do the path, but we could take a look at our create user and see what we did. It's very similar.
Yep.
What's that?
Context.
We have the context already, but what do we need to create on that first?
We need to create an instance, Alex, of the post.
Very good. So here we need to create an instance of the post, right? Using the post initializer. Thank you. That takes in some sort of entity object.
But we gave post and
What's that?
did we give post an initializer?
No, that comes from core data. Same as what we did with the create user here. Same with create user. We're able to create a user from the entity from core data. The entity, remember the entity is those classes we created in the model, in the core data model.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so now we're able to create a user using that entity we created, and we inserting it into the context. So same syntax here. We use the entity initializer and we say post.entity. And what context we're inserting it into? The same context from the app delegate. And again, if we go back to our drawing here, we have objects, we have a context, and we save it there. Awesome. So we have our post. This is an empty post right now. Empty post. We need to add the properties to the post now. So here I could say add properties or set properties or set the post properties. A post, we'll do the relationship last. A post has a number. We say number fact. A post has a title. We say title. And now we want to create that relationship. So create relationship between post and user. Okay. Post.user equal to user. So we set the basic properties we had. The post has a number, the post has a title, and lastly, what's the relationship between the post and the user? So that post needs a user, right? Everybody?
Yeah.
Right, so the post needs a user, that's what we did here. Any questions about that before we move on? Any questions?
But this is this is not really creating it. This is more about solidifying it because we already put it in there now.
Yes. Yeah, if you don't do it, then the post is just nil, like the user object would be nil, and we don't want that. We want to have that relationship there. Because later when we say user, get me all your posts, the way it's going to know that if a post is associated to that particular user, it knows who the user is, so it will get all the posts of that user. Does that make sense? Tiffany?
Yes.
The user property was created when we created the relationship between post and user.
The user doesn't have a relationship here. If I go back to my user object, right?
But I mean, like in the core data number facts data model, right? When we did the control drag, that is when the user attribute was created on post. Is that correct?
Yes, that's when the user got the post. Yes.
So it's safe to say that user has a post.
User has many posts. Could have one or many.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or could have no post as well.
I get what Eric is saying, because number and title were attributes that we created for posts.
Yeah.
Yep. Those two. Yep.
User comes from the control.
The relationship. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is line 68. We could put some more information here, like create relationship between the post and the user. So that dot user here is from the drag.
Yeah.
Right. So that dot user here is this relationship was created by control drag in the core data model, core data graphical model.
If I understand right, core data provides the relationship, and that relationship uses this reference for that relationship, right?
Yes, so core data created that relationship. That's why we have post.user.
Okay.
But it's up to us to say what that actual is. Like, we need to set that.
Gotcha.
Right, because if we don't set it, then the user becomes nil, or the user is nil.
And in a relationship, if we didn't set it here, would that create an error? Would we need to?
We would just not get that post for that user.
Okay.
It would be disconnected.
Gotcha. So, and that would be because of the relationship.
Exactly. Like if you don't do line 69 and he's like, hey, user, give me a post. The user doesn't have any post.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Because here we pass in the user, which we selected in the picker view.
Right.
So in our picker view, we select the user, Nora Jones, right? Now Nora Jones says she wants to create a post. This is Nora Jones here. She creates a post, and then now that post is associated to Nora Jones.
Jones.
Cool.
Cool?
Okay.
Awesome. Very good, very good. Okay, so at this point we have a post. We need to now go to Mr. Christian. Mr. Christian says if you have a post that's not enough, you need to now save it to the context. So we need to say try here, context.save. And we'll have a print statement here. Try save. Context.save, try, what am I doing? Unused function. Am I returning anything?
You're missing the brackets after save. I mean, the parentheses after save.
Why didn't that populate? Why is it being lazy? I'm the one that should be lazy, not Xcode. Thank you, sir. So here we'll have a print statement saying, where are we? Create post
error.
Yeah. Create post. Error here. And again, just keep in mind that we could simply turn this into a throw-in function.
It would be error saving post, right?
Yep.
Not creating.
Throw-in function. So let's see. What's that, Tiffany?
Would it be an error saving or creating?
Creating. We're about to create saving. It will be saving. So error creating, error saving post, or error creating, error saving post. That's fine. Creating, saving, same context. Because we're trying to create, and if it doesn't, so save is fine.
Should we return post?
Yes, we're gonna return a post as well. Thank you, madame. Thank you, mademoiselle. She's doing exactly what we do as we learn. As we learn, we try to pattern match, right? Like what do we do in the create user? Let's try to do the same thing in the create post.
No, because we need to return posts, right? That's what we're doing.
Yep. So here, return post. Thank you, Luba.
And it would just be the same post that we created with the entity and the insert.
Exactly. And then our delegate same way will work. We'll use it. Very good.
This stuff is hard.
What happened?
Nothing.
You said it's hard?
So if you heard me, why you asking me to repeat it?
I don't know. It's a thing, a human thing we do, I guess.
So much.
You got this.
Oh my God.
I mean, we could take it one step further. We could make the whole thing generic. I'm expecting that from Mr. Ahad on Monday. Mr. Ahad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, I was the what on Monday?
The what on Monday? We said nothing.
Okay. Proceed.
So we did our create post. Any questions about the create post logic? Again, we have a post. The entity is post, right? So we say, give us an entity. In that case, it gives us an empty entity. We want to insert that empty entity into the current context we have. We get back a post. And then we go on to set the post properties. The post has a number. The post has a title. And the relationship between the post and the user, we just say post.user is the current user who created the post. At that point, we go down to save the context, because remember, if we do not do line 73, it does not get saved. Even if you call this function, everything works here, and you do not do this part, it's not gonna get saved to core data, okay? All that work, and it's not gonna get saved here. So don't forget to save. Save, save, save. Awesome. Are we good? Can we go to the next function? Yes. All right, cool. So let's go to fetch, and then we will, somebody's gonna lead me with fetching, how that looks. Fetch post. Okay, what are we returning?
An array of post.
An array of post. Awesome. What else?
We need a do catch.
We need a do catch. Why?
Because it throws an error.
It throws an error. So the context itself, the methods throws an error for fetching, right? What else we need?
Post equals to try context.fetch.
So try context, right? Dot fetch. And what are we fetching?
Post.fetch request.
Post.fetch request. Very good. And what does that return us?
An array of posts.
So all the posts, right?
Yeah.
Perfect, which is an array of posts. Awesome, very good. And in the catch block, we'll have some print statements, and then we'll return post here. And for the catch, we'll simply have a print statement saying failed to fetch post error, and put in the error. Awesome, thank you. Build, and we have our fetch post. So we are good. We are good. I'll just throw in like one thing here for us. We're not going to use it right now, but if you want to do deletion, I'll just show us what that looks like. So if you want to do deletion, for example, public function, delete post. First of all, what do we need? If I want to delete a post, what do I need?
The post.
I need the post. So we'll pass in a post. And we go into the context again. We say context.delete. Context.delete, it expects some sort of manage object. You see the NS manage object here? It has to be called data object. And here I just pass the post. And then what do we always do when we do something to the context?
Save it.
Save it. So now I need to save the context. So here, do catch and save the context. So here, try context.save and print failed to delete post with error. Error. Cool. So we saw delete. Awesome. We saw delete, we saw fetch, we saw create. Update, very similar. You pass in the post, you change the properties, you click save. Does that make sense to everybody? Hello, 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 hello.
Oh wait, so even after you delete it, you want to save it because you want to save the update. Like this.
Always, yes, always, always. Always save the context, everything we do. Awesome, so that's delete.
Should the delete post return like a Boolean or no?
Yeah, you could return something. Like if that's good, I could set some variable here. I could do something like this, like I could have a variable here. Was deleted, maybe. Was deleted, which is set to false. And I could return was deleted here. I could make this return a Boolean value. And we could set was deleted here to what?
True.
True. And that would be it. Eric? Eric!
Yeah, I got it. I heard you.
All right, cool.
Discardable result for more fun.
Yeah, you could do discardable result for more fun.
That's not more fun.
What does discardable result do? Somebody else?
It doesn't actually, like, you don't need to return it to anything.
Okay, so it silences the warnings if value is not returned. Or yeah. Or
Well, that's the case, then it don't really make no sense to put
silences the warnings if return value is not used. Return the value is not used.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And what would be the intention of returning the bool? Would it be to do something with the bool to say, like, display a show alert or something?
Yeah, like exactly. Like some sort of feedback the thing worked. So I could either show an alert or do some UI change.
And in the instance that we don't want to use that result, that becomes a discardable result.
Exactly. So in your view controller, whatever, like you would say, like you let result equal to delete post, for example, and delete post takes some post, right? So if I do not want to use this result, I simply do not need to say let result equal.
And you get no error.
I get no warning.
Right.
Yeah.
No warning.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
You are welcome, sir. Build. Cool. Excellent. All right. So we are good with Core Data Manager. Let's now continue on. Let's continue on. All right, so where are we? We're about to create a post, right? So let's go to the create post controller. Create post controller, we are here. Okay, we're here. The user clicked on the submit button. We have two fields to take care of. We wanna make sure those two fields are not empty. And the user selects, what's the pick a view option? It's a user. So the user selects a user. They change the user here, so we should have some sort of like user object here we capture. So we can do
the create post control. The create. What
create post view controller.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
No worries. So let's create a variable here to capture the user, because as I select a user, I want to update that user variable in my picker view. So when I switch my picker view, I get to Alex, whatever. I want to change that user variable throughout my view controller. So let us have a variable here called user. We'll make it optional. Maybe we just call it selected user. So selected user is optional. We get to view the load. We could do this. We could say selected user is users dot first. Okay. That's just gonna grab the first one from the array. That's fine. User goes down to did select here. So did select row at. I have some code I need to write here. we have a user, or we could just say selected user. Selected user. In the did select row at for the components that just changed. So now I need to figure out what's the user. This is the user, right? So I updated the user every time the person scrolls through the picker view. So if I go to Nora, my user, my selected user now is Nora. If I say Miles, my selected user is now Miles. So every time I change my picker view, that gets updated. So whenever I say, hey, go create a post for that user, I have a selected user. Any questions? Cool. So moving on to submit button pressed. Okay, this is where we are. We in submit button pressed in the create post view controller, and we have some checks to do for emptiness. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off. So validating data, I guess. So validating data. And the data we're validating is the post title and the number, right? So post title, number, and selected user as well. We'll just unwrap that.
Validating the data.
What's that?
So what do you mean by validating?
Making sure it's not empty and stuff like that. So checking for emptiness. Check to make sure it's not empty. And also number is a valid number. Number is a valid double.
What wouldn't make it a valid double?
A string.
No.
Like if I put a number fact here like this, and
But
I try to
guard against it if you could just make that specific text field numbers only.
Yeah, but that's not what we end, right? As developers. Okay. The user could copy paste something into the text field from someplace else.
Oh.
Yep. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, always be careful there. Users are not as smart as we think they are. Yeah, so be careful there. Okay, so validating data, we could here, selected user, we could here. So now let's go ahead and start doing our guards. So we'll guard, we will say post title. Post title is post title.text. First we'll check, make sure it's not empty. Post title is empty. So that's good. Next we'll go to number text or number fact text. Number fact text here. Make sure this is not empty. Number is empty. And then we'll also say let number fact equal to double number fact text. And now we satisfied. Then we could say return. And then we could put a print statement here. Print. We'll just say missing fields. We could have just kept the selected there as well, but now I just unwrap my selected user. Selected user. Let user equal to selected user, else return. And here I could just say print no user selected. Cool. So at this point, we have all the data we need.
Oh wait, I think hold on, wait. Post title, okay. Let number fact. Okay. Oh, okay, number fact. We'll make that text. And then wait,
Question?
what's title? Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I've never seen that semicolon before. Is there anything unique about that?
It just happens on the same line. I mean, we could just not do that.
Oh, okay.
But
I see.
if you want to have it on the same line, you could use the semicolon here. Actually, you have to use the semicolon.
All right,
If
so
you
it's just
have-
syntax.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh. Doing good? Can we continue? Let me open up the chat. Or, chat. Any questions? Oh, somebody said, oof. What's happening there? Mr. Bien, what's happening there? That oof. What's happening? Did I create an instance of post? True, no, darn. Laugh loud. You guys having fun in the chats. How are we doing? Can we continue?
Yes.
I feel like I'm all alone. I'm all alone.
You're
No
not.
one.
We're all here.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay, cool,
Everybody's
cool,
just
cool.
listening.
All right, awesome. So we have a post title, we have a number fact, which is a double, we have a user. Now let's just go ahead and create the user, create the post. Create post. So how are we gonna create the post in Codata?
You need a new variable called post.
Called post.
Core data manager dot shared
Data manager dot shared
dot create post.
dot create post.
Awesome. I'm still a little the submit button. Can we go back to the submit button really quickly?
1 second.
Oh, we're in this still. Okay, cool.
Number fact
So
and
number fact is
title.
equal to just the regular text. Number fact text.
Oh, be careful here, not title, it's post title.
So let number fact.
Sandra?
Huh?
Thank you.
Hold on.
Tiffany, you have a question?
Yeah, we said let number fact text equal that regarding that it's not empty, and then we're saying let number fact equal the double of the number fact text, comma, I know, then we say else.
How are we doing?
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Okay. Tiffany, questions?
I'm just trying to.
So we have our post. The next step in this particular app is to set up protocol very similar to what we had before. So we'll set up protocol very similar. Again, this is good practice there with everything we've learned so far in iOS development. So so we will do so. Let's go up. We'll come back here to do some more code. The to-do, we have a to-do item here. Set or call delegate function. So let's go to the very top to set our custom protocol. So we have our create post view controller. We'll set a custom protocol here. We'll call it create post delegate. Any object, any random access, nope. Any object. And the one function we have is did create post. Did create post has two parameters here. We have create post view controller, which is a create post view controller. And we have the actual post that was created, which is type post. And again, I'll keep reviewing protocols and stuff because that's just one thing that's inheriting iOS development and knowing it is awesome. So custom protocol. So this is step 1. This is step 2, where we have a weak var delegate. And create post delegate. Be careful there, it's not create user, you get an error anyway. Actually not, but just be careful. This is create post delegate. This is our step 2.
Oh, wait. Inside of our, can we go, can you go up to the, oh wait, actually no, you have a warning right now too because of the post is not being used yet, right?
Yeah, we have a to do there. Okay. That'll be our 3rd step where we set the delegate on it. Or we set the delegate and we pass that object. How are we doing? We have the 2 steps. Can we go back to the submit function?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, cool. So back in our to-do item here, we'll say delegate dot did create post. We're passing self and we're passing the post. And here we could take out that to do, build, make sure we have no errors. So create post, we call the delegate. At this point, we are good. Well, we could dismiss. Dismiss true and completion nil. So we dismiss the actual create post view controller, and now we're back in the post view controller. So in the post view controller, which we'll go to now, in the post view controller, can we go to the post view controller?
Yes. Yes.
1 second.
It looked like it never rained all of a sudden.
I'm telling you, they're doing something.
Let's see. SoCal Live. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. 2:58. What time did we start? 2:10. Okay.
220 technically.
2:20. Okay. So we should be good. I think that's the last session there. Anything else is just like filling out the gaps, but the basic of core data is the objective, and I think we are good.
So we don't have to, like how we did the prepare for Segue for the users, we don't need that.
Yeah, we got to set that up too. So we're about to do that in the post view controller. Are we okay with, can I go to the post view controller now?
No, I have an error, like did create post. Where did you?
Did create post. So we started here. Did create post is the function for the protocol, the one function protocol we have.
Oh, okay.
And it accepts 2 arguments here. We have the view controller itself and we have the post.
Yeah, yeah.
And you good?
Yeah.
Who's drawing red dots on my screen? Mr. Ahad.
Oh,
I'm getting old, but I'm not that old. You have
it's
me
not
trying.
me. Oh no, how many times I have to say it? It's not me. Something happening is most likely not me because I'm lying
You got
down.
the reputation, Ahad.
Yes.
Okay, I shouldn't have said I'm lying down right now, but I'm lying down.
It's almost perfectly above the L here. Selected. Core data.
I don't know why there's a reputation for me causing some sort of.
I wonder why.
Me too, honestly.
You, Ahad. It's always you.
What does that mean? I want to know who said that.
Somebody somewhere.
Dun, dun.
Our post controller is empty, guys. What happened here? So in the post view controller, we need to write our final set of codes for the day.
Which
so
is
our,
table view.
yes, so we have a table view. That's good. Now we need to set that table view up. How many people have their snippets? Everybody have their snippets?
No.
No?
I
Like
didn't.
this? Nobody had their snippets? Wow, this one is actually post view controller. Look at that.
That's because that's where you did it from?
Maybe.
You deleted it?
The snippet's really helpful, right? Like, let's do it over. So extension, post view controller extends UI table view or conforms to UI table view data source. We don't need a delegate. I don't think we don't need a delegate right now. Yes.
Sorry, can you show us how to like create a snippet again? Like
Yes, right after we do this one, we'll do it. Is that cool?
Yep. Thanks.
All right. So table view data source is good. Number of rows. We're returning, what's our data? We return post.count. Post doesn't exist yet, but we'll create post.count or return post.count. Next, we'll have cell for row. And here we have a basic cell. We have a basic cell. We have our table view. We say DQ. Here we say post cell. Hopefully that's what we called it. I think that's what we called it. Index path, return cell. We have a subtitle, so we could say things like get me a post from my post array at index path.row. And we could say cell.text label.text equal to post.title. At this point, we are just guessing names. So we'll take a pause here and we'll make sure we have our post existing, and then we'll come back and finish this off. So the next one is going to be cell.detail text label.text equal to post dot, maybe number fact in that case, of or number. Again, we'll come back and fix that up. Cool. Once we fix it, Lilia, we'll show how to do the code snippet. Cool?
Yep. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So right now we're just making the post.
Right now we're setting up our data source for the table view. So whenever we create a new post, it will show up in the table view. So while we're here, yes, Tiffany, we could probably also do the extension. Thank you for reminding us. So here we'll say post view controller extends or conforms to create post delegate. And in my post delegate, I have did create post. And here I could append post.append. Again, this here, we'll come back to it because we don't have a post yet. So just be careful with the syntax here. But this is gonna work once we set everything up.
That's not what I was talking about, but that's fine. We have
how are we doing? Can we scroll up to actually have the post array? Can we scroll up? Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah.
No? Okay. We're almost there. So let's create an array of posts. An array of posts looks like this. And very similar, we have our did set to update our table view dot reload.
Alex, can you please scroll down for like 1 second?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. I'm good if you want to go back.
While you're there, you could update those, right? Because now we have the values. Connect assign double, so we just make that a description. A nice to have too, we could actually have the username. So let's make this entire thing a string and interpolate that string. So here you have the post number. You have the post title. Let's keep the post number and the post title together. Post number and post title together. You could do this. And then here for the detail, we'll just say by the person. So posted by, posted, connection request. What's happening? Posted, who's hacking me? Posted by Ahad. This is gonna
What
kill
is
me.
it? What? Wait, what?
What's happening? You okay?
You tell me what's going on.
I don't know. I think you're trying to hack me. You're trying to hack me.
Hack what?
What?
I feel very attacked and uncomfortable and
And all the things.
baseless accusations against
So
me.
are we still doing description because it's given a the whatchamacallit?
We could do number. I'm sorry. That was like before. Here is an optional. I could just make an empty string here. And user, what are we saying? Posted by user that name.
Title optional.
1 second. User that name. And just make that optional like this. Title is optional.
Why?
That's coming from our data object we created earlier, from the data model itself.
Wait, what?
The classes that were generated here, our properties.
Oh, the ones that it made itself.
Exactly. So those are coming from here.
The properties that were, gotcha.
Awesome. Okay, so we updated this. We could also update our did create post to just append it to the array of posts. And we are doing good.
And the details equal to posted by.
Yeah, we just put posted by. Again, the custom set would make this look nicer, but this is just to show the data we have. Red dots falling on my head. How are we doing? Can we scroll up? We have some more setting up to do. We have our table view. We haven't configured our table view. Private function, configure. Actually, we don't really need this. This is fine. Let's just do table view dot data source equal to self. What else we need here?
A prepare for Segue.
And why?
So that we could get an instance of the create post view controller so we get the post.
So that we could set the delegate, right?
Yeah.
Very good. So very similar to what we did before. Very good. Prepare for Segue. I don't think we have an identifier yet. How many things we're going to or from? Let's see. Let's cheat a little bit. We have one Segue. Our post doesn't show anything, so that's fine. In that case here, we only have one Segue. Everybody with me?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need to check to see the identifier. Does that make sense?
But the other one, we had more than one?
Yeah, the other one we could have more than one because the intention was to click here and go to the post.
Okay.
Okay. But here we're not going to show no details of the post.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. So prepare for Segue. Here we could simply just guard against looking for, just typecast the value that we want. It is create post VC equal to Segue dot destination as create post view controller Could not cast, could not segue to create post view controller. All right. So now we have the create post VC instance. So here, since we have the instance, since we have the instance of the create, we are now able to set the delegate. Create VC dot delegate equal to self. Build, make sure we have no errors and warnings.
Oh, I have an error.
What
do
is
we do inside of the create?
inside of the create?
Oh, that we just added to the posts, right? Post dot append.
Yeah, down here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just post that append. Yeah.
I feel you, Nora. Me too.
Wow, you guys are hearing this. Oh man, sorry. I apologize.
Sorry for.
I apologize.
That's what I say. I apologize.
I apologize. But I apologize. I'm sorry.
No.
She's probably getting to that spot where she wants to nap. I want to nap. I just want to nap. I'm too tired to nap.
That reminds me of, I just want to sleep.
I want to nap now.
Right here.
But she's funny at night. She just goes, I want to sleep. And she just like crashes. Okay, how are we doing? Can we test? I think we're in a spot to test. So let's test and see what's broken, what's working.
Don't we need to fetch posts?
Yes, we need to do that too. Thank you, sir. We would have quickly realized that really quickly, but thank you, sir. Awesome. So we need to fetch, right? If we don't fetch, we're not going to get the new results. It's going to be the same as before, where we could add, but we're not fetching again. So let's fetch. Thank you, sir. Fetch post. And drum roll. Where's my app? Does that app still work? Let me see if my app still works. Fellows, where are you? Let's shuffle. We can do Kelby again. Kelby went already. Eric, you show up, Eric. Do you see yourself here?
What was that?
Do you see yourself? You showed up randomly in the app. You're up. Explain to us what's happening in our fetch posts function. What are we writing?
Post equals core data manager.
Post equal to core data manager.
Dot shared.
Dot shared.
Dot fetch post.
Dot fetch post. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then we'll call our fetch post here. So when we add some fetch posts, it comes here for the view did load. This is good. Down in our append, we append this. It calls our table view that reloads the table view. Okay, let's give it a shot now. Run it. Run as fast as you can. So go here, we have 3 users.
You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man.
Our title, we start off with pi. Number fact, we say 3.14. We click submit, and like that, we have pi populated in our table view.
I crashed.
We stop the app, we run the app again. Does it persist? It does persist. So at this point, we are good as well. And we have a post for Nora Jones. And if you have a crash, what does the crash say, sir? There's also something behind your head, so be careful there.
Oh, wait, when we put the plus sign, we not supposed to, oh, silly Tiffany. Oops.
Don't say
Alex,
silly.
right? That thing behind Christian's head's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I know. It's like right coming after
What did
you.
I say?
And it's looking right at me.
Looking at all of us.
One eye that's looking at us.
Oh, man. Does
And
it
like
see your
the
butt?
other, and then the other eye looking at him. It's like, what the heck?
Does it see your crash? What's your crash, sir?
My crash is I did something wrong somewhere.
For some
What does
reason,
it
it
say?
feels like
There's a
it's
cra-
getting closer.
There's a crash log. What does the crash say in the console?
Reason core data number facts dot user set number unrecognized selector.
Is it something with your outlets?
It was a cigarette crash, so of course it's not very helpful.
It's probably your outlets. Double check. Make sure your outlets are all. If you deleted an outlet, you renamed an outlet. That could be one of the errors.
Haven't, but like those errors typically like show you that. They would
Yeah,
check.
it might be one of those errors. I think if a selector error, it's probably that. That's how I'd start off and look.
First of all, Pi is my birthday.
It's also Pursuit's birthday.
It's Pursuit's birthday?
Yeah, that's when Pursuit was founded. 2014, 314.
Stop playing.
Stop. Don't do it.
Wait, I had a question, Alex.
Yes, sir.
Stop playing.
Can we,
God.
can we
One second,
view
one
the
second.
data that
Question.
we saved?
Can we view the data that we
Like we
saved?
did with data persistence?
You have to
we
use
could
like
look at the
extra.
file?
There's like third-party libraries. If you want to do that, you have to use like a party like a third-party like Realm.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Realm would probably do
I'm
that.
gonna share my screen so you can help me out with this because I don't know where it is.
Aaron.
Sorry.
Is Aaron here? Aaron pops in and out.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you double check Mr. Christian's computer?
Yes, sir. What
Thank
is
you,
going
sir. Muchas gracias. He might have like a double check his controllers and make sure he doesn't have a disconnected, unused outlet for his number fax label. I think he's getting an error there.
I think.
Okay, we get it.
Alex,
I think Alex just fixed the error. No. Christian, are
You
you
guys
gonna
could take
join
it
with me?
offline. You guys could take it offline and then just
Wait,
hop right in. Yes, go ahead. Question.
So you're saying that.
One second. Amani had a question, or Lydia first.
Yeah, I had a small question. When you were describing what goes into detailed text label, I think I did something wrong. It's like printing a whole bunch of stuff that I
Yeah,
don't.
sure. Detailed text label, the only thing we have going on here is detailed text label that text, right? We said posted by the person, the username.
Okay. Username, and there is no.
Did you get you got a post here, right? On line 47?
I think I was printing too much stuff because I was like printing like the name of my actual project and a whole bunch of stuff. I was very confused.
Okay, but you're able to get it now, correct?
1 second. Oh my god, I don't even know. Hold on. Wait. Sorry. Okay, 1 second.
Let's see this.
I know that.
Are you able to see it?
Yeah, I'm gonna run it. I think I should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, cool. What time is it? It's 3:20. I think we are good here at this point.
Yes, I think so.
I think so, because you know me. And I should stop. What I could see ahead of where I'm going, I should stop before I get there. Monday, if there's anything else I want to show, we'll see anything else on Monday. But as far as like the basic fundamentals of like core data and what I see, that's what I have here. What I'll do, I'll post anything else on the README itself with like other things you could do or examples of things you could do with core data. Remember, core data is big. This is huge. Core data, there's books written on core data. If you're using core data as a developer in the industry, like, you either all in on core data or you're not on core data. But over the last 2 days, we've seen like what core data could do. There's like so much more core data could do. Like, as I said, there's NS predicates there. We wrote it somewhere. Let me go back to it before I stop here. Predicate. Where did I write it? I wrote it somewhere. Predicate. Here. Okay, back in our core data manager, we wrote some notes here on the fetch users. There's more things you could do. So as I fetch here, I'm fetching all the records, right? But I could filter the records. I could sort the records. So there's this NS predicate here. I could fetch, I could have a custom format to say, hey, only get me users where the last name is AH or whatever it is. There's a lot of filtering, a lot of power behind fetching from core data, okay? So there's the NS fetch predicate here. There's many more things we could do. But again, there's so much in that particular API. There's books written about it. But as far as like setting up core data from beginning your app with saying, oh, I want to include core data into my app, making sure it's checked, we could do that now. If I have an existing application and I want to add core data to it, we could do that now because we could create a dummy app and we could basically copy that entire core data stack here in the app delegate and paste it into your own app delegate, right? And the only thing else you would have to do is what? Anybody remember? 1, the app delegate code. 2.
Alex, we don't remember.
What's that?
We don't remember.
I'm just trying to get the juices
Core
flowing.
data, class, and properties.
Yes, sir. I think you're saying create the class, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I would have to create that. You see, Mr. Eric? Come on, Miss Stephanie.
Okay.
So I would create a new file, and then I would go to create a core data model. Those are the 2 things. If I have an existing app, I want to add core data, get the core data stack copied into the app delegate, and second, create a new file, core data model, and then you could go add your entities and attributes and everything else. Okay? So core data has gotten very easy to add to a project. Over the years, it was a bit harder before, but now it's like way easier to add core data to your stack.